at 6:38. All rise for the allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Roxy Witowski here.
Scott Ferguson here.
Timothy Kerman here.
And Mike is excused. Okay, so we have approval of minutes from 4:10. Everybody have a chance to read them?
Yes.
Make a motion. Okay, any accept that?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I know I didn't see it, but I don't know. What's that? Is that it? Trustees of the trust fund. Janet, you're off.
Okay. I had a question when we were at the budget meeting last week. We have a capital reserve fund on the books for the police department. And currently there's $47 and change in there. Now that was originally set up for new cruises and stuff, but then it got switched over to the revolving fund. So what do you want to do with this police department fund for $47?
So we could go ahead and close out and move the money over to the revolving fund.
No, you close it out, move it over to the general fund.
General fund, okay. I don't know, what's everybody's thoughts? I mean, I'm fine with closing out, so we have $47 and not money, we don't anticipate putting anything else in there. I'll look for other people's info.
What was the fundraiser?
The new cruises, cruiser replacements.
Because that's the money that comes from
The details?
details. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach Tracy. Okay, so what do you need from us, Janet?
I mean, just an approval from you,
Approval to close it out?
to close it out.
All right, so some person make a motion. Close out the, hold on, now, let me get that. It's called the 1997 Police Cruiser CRF.
I'll make a motion to close out the
1997.
1997 CR Police Cruiser Fund and with the,
And we'll put the cost in there because there'll be interest added into it.
what the cost of that?
So we'll say it's gonna be
All funding.
estimated $47
Plus
because
accrued interest,
based off of the booking here, it's $46.53.
right,
So
4% of their interest, right?
it's not gonna be much more than that. So there's a motion on here, wants somebody else second it?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anything else, Janet?
Yes,
Okay.
I have submitted my request for the money for the capital reserve funds. And my request, although there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, I always request one check for the total amount, which in this case is $96,000. And because I deposited into the master account, and the bank puts it up for me, all I do is I forward an email to the person I work with, give her the account numbers, and she puts the money into those accounts. Then she sends me back an email telling me she's done it.
Okay, so you sent the request to Carol?
I'm just telling you how I do it, and this way, if there's any questions, ask me now before we get started on this.
Is that gonna be an issue, Carol?
Not at all, because I can itemize it like I do the other.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right, so yeah, whenever, you go ahead and request it. We'll come.
So you can set the check up whenever,
It'll be next Monday.
that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I just, I have to wait until the budget got approved.
Right, so those monies will go into the CRFs and then Mike,
Yep.
we can go ahead and start figuring it out. Yeah, perfect, thank you. Anything else?
Yep.
Okay, so that brings us to signature action. The first one we have is exemption applications for 247 Silver Street, 252 Route 153, and 74 East Memorial.
All right, so first I will give you the 74 Eastman Lane.
Yep.
And this one, the assessor said the applicant meets all statutory and it's approval. When you're signing, make sure you sign on the second row. You have a second row, please. And then all of you sign that.
So we don't need to make a motion on this.
No, you just need to sign it.
So,
The next one is, 247 Silver Street, and, again, the applicant meets the recommended, meets the requirements and, this one on the right side.
yeah.
And then this is the next one recommended to be approved. No. Sign it. Oh, okay. You did my job.
Oh, she's gonna print.
I usually print it for you, but if you want to take the time to do that, you can.
No, really, I don't just sign it.
Because we have 3 of these to go through. The last one is 252 Route 153. And this one was a veteran's exemption. And I was quite disappointed to learn that we only offer veterans exemption to active duty veterans. There are 2 veterans exemptions. There's the regular veterans exemption, that's only for combat. And then there's an all veterans, which is a secondary one, which the town of Middleton has never adopted. So unfortunately, this individual did not have active duty, so he can't get the exemption even though he meets all the other requirements. So I did put a note in my, for next year's town meeting that we should explore the all veterans exemption to add it. But this one unfortunately is denied, but you still need to sign
So, yeah, so I would think that's something to start with.
Yeah. it. And that was just not knowing, I don't think anybody understood that one that we had was more for combat. Yeah, I know that, he specifically asked about it exemption. That's all. That's all right. No, it's just quicker, that's all.
You have this conservation.
Yes, when you all appointed, the people to the conservation, you have to sign, appointed by, I need 3 to sign.
This was done at the last meeting.
Yeah, so there's Dan Salaga for an alternate, there's Carol Vita for a 1-year member, there's Kate Bazard for a 2-year member, and Jim Keegan for a 3-year member. So right here at the bottom where it says appointed by,
I thought wow too, but yeah, it is, yeah. I get to got confirmation.
alright, I have 1,
Just need 3, yeah, so those are just 3 signatures.
Stephen Wolf. I still have 1 more exemption.
Yeah, we're coming with that. We got 1 more appointment. So then we have the E9 on there.
Yeah, and this is just the chair. This is to appoint Robin Willis, the new administrative clerk, as the E911 data operations liaison. This is so that she can assign house numbers and so on and so forth.
So I'm just signing down your blog that says signature.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last thing is the audit representation letter for the 2021 audit. That audit is complete. The financial statements should be in the mail any day. I have about 4 pages worth of journal entries to make to correct the mistakes from that year. I just need you to sign the last page as the chair.
Just wanted to know I was not selected in 2021.
And then just a side note, the budget committee had requested a final 2021 budget versus actual report. Once I make those journal entries, I'll give them a news corrected report.
Yeah, and I think we always ran into that issue, shouldn't we? I always wanted the actual.
So we're gonna target.
Next item is old business, treasurer report from February.
Yes, so Sandy finally, was able to, reconcile bank account for the month of February. That's her report. It, so she's working on March now.
Yes, she should. The next item, old business, Verizon phones.
That's you. You have to put that on there.
Oh, yes, so, sorry, well, you know where everything comes from. So we have 12?
We have 11,
Oh.
Chief Cooper's, his phone was misplaced, when the vehicle accident, so.
So we have 11
we have-
iPhones that the town now owns that we look to auction off.
Yeah, so, we have 8, no, we have more than that, we have a few more than that.
We have 11, but,
Well, there's some new ones
Right,
that
so-
weren't, there's actually more than 11. Yes, Scott and I were looking in the drawer today, how many used open boxes were there? There were 6.
right,
Plus
so,
I need one more back from, code, and then I have something like 6 or 7 brand new still in the box. And
okay,
some people didn't get their upgrade.
right, so,
That was supposed to go to the officers on the fire department.
so we have, okay, so we have approximately 11, I'm gonna say approximately 11.
Yeah.
So, and that breaks down to some have been actually used and some have still in the box. So the question is I went to put them out for bid, and so that, instead of them sitting there just wasting to nothing, not collecting any money or doing anything, so, and your thoughts, boards, thoughts, what are the iPhones, what generation? Scott, we're looking at it, so.
Mike, do you remember what?
Remember?
They're fairly new.
What's the latest?
14 just came out, right?
Yes.
So I think it was a
12.
12, I want to say 12.
Alright, so.
Yeah, I think it was a 12.
I can tell you they all look just like this one, but I have no idea what this one
This one.
It all do look exactly like that one.
is. I think it's a 12, but I think they call it like an XR or something.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's our, not a 12, right? Yeah.
Okay, so just a couple of
Oh,
points.
mine's an iPhone 11 Pro Max, so.
All right, so first,
Yeah.
I need one of you that's more tech savvy than I to wipe out the phones that were used, back to used condition, so I need one of you to volunteer to do that.
I do that.
Tim? All right, and then I need direction on how is this working that we're gonna sell these? Where are we selling them? Are we just posting on the website, want to send a sealed bid? I mean, how are we doing this?
That's, I think, what the discussion is tonight for,
What's the town's policy on selling town property?
we typically put it out to bid.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think we gotta follow the policy, just
Right,
like
so I
we're
think
getting
we
rid of
would just-
diesel equipment.
So I think we would post on the town website as well as the Facebook page, the town Facebook page, saying that we have these. And I think we do a minimum. Yes, I was just gonna say that. We should probably do a minimum bid. We should probably find out what generation they are, come up with, and so we can firm that up maybe next Monday
Absolutely.
and then we'll post it.
All right, I'll look up.
Okay. Well, Tim will know when he goes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the wipe and I'll find out what generation they are, and I'll get, it's all approximate value.
Right, and so.
And then
first
it's-
thing
The
you-
brand new ones, I would go, not even open, would be more than.
Right.
And we have like, accessories for them too, that we wanna.
I mean, the other caveat I think we gotta include in there too is they've gotta be a Verizon
Yeah,
carrier.
Okay.
Technically, you don't have to.
No, you
Well, I don't know, they'll have to be like.
You can swap the SIM or you can change the,
Yeah, you can change the card very easily.
yeah.
I don't
So
know.
technically, you can.
Yeah.
I just remember people were always like, oh, you gotta unlock it first, and you can do this and that.
So yeah, so we will follow up, firm that up next Monday, like, you know, I would assume different prices for the ones that have been open versus non-open.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get status of where we are when we work out.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Excellent. New business. Department head meetings. Should I ask you that?
no, I believe Scott wanted that on there just to discuss like attendance at department head meetings and what this board wanted to do moving forward.
Okay. So go ahead, Scott.
So that was basically, you know, we had a department head meeting the other day, or the last meeting, and, Dan was here. Teresa was here. Chief was on a call, his truck was here, he was on a priority call. But we didn't have anyone else. And we had demos, which are great. But if people have questions or we have questions, it's kind of one of those things where if we as a board have a question, like we can't all meet to discuss things, especially now with 5 people. So it gives that opportunity for us to interact with the department head questions, things like that as a whole.
That being said, I would just like to make the comment that that was allowed previously, so I don't think you can fault any department heads for not showing up.
Oh, I'm not
We had
I'm
noticed.
not faulting anyone.
I'm just saying it was allowed to, as long as,
Right.
I mean, I sat here through many meetings where as long as they had their report, they were fine, so that has been past practice.
And to be honest with you, I mean, there have been, many communities where the only time department heads have shown up is when it's been requested of them to show up, so. If we wanna make this a new policy once a month, to show up, we're gonna do that, otherwise. I think, memos are fine, and then if we can get them beforehand, and then ask questions for them.
Yeah, I guess maybe that would work if we can get the memos beforehand, because like some of the memos we saw, we sat down at the table, you know, so it was like, now.
I literally get those right up until
I just look at it from the point of it's something that potentially can be drawn out and turned into a lot of work, like the public has questions, now all of a sudden we've gotta come back, and then we gotta go to Carol, and Carol's gonna go, and then get that question.
Well,
Then we gotta come back.
no, I would say whoever the liaison for that department is, if there isn't a liaison, so like code enforcement isn't, then that might, but I'm just saying, so the 3 major department heads, because that was gonna be my question is do we consider the people who are listed on that sheet when Carol has the department heads, those are department heads?
Right.
So, but I guess, so what I would say is maybe we can send out a memo to everybody who's on that list, we consider department heads saying, we want your report in by, say, Friday, so then we have a chance to look at it when we can, for Monday's meeting, or, or by 8 AM on Monday, something like that, so then.
Okay.
So if we have questions, we can try and get.
Maybe
questions
try and
before the
email a question out or a text or something, so is everybody good with that?
I'm good with that. That was the whole part of put on there, was just to have
So
this
you got
discussion.
that, Carol, so we're.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Follow up from the non-pub. So, one of the items, so we don't have in our policy handbook or our policies and procedures or our employee handbook, anything that addresses work from home and given the environment that we are now with, given past COVID, or whatever, what the guidelines are. We don't have anything from Middleton, so we're looking to address that in the policy handbook. So that needs to be done in the public forum. This is what it is. So the last item, right, no, there's something on the other side.
Yeah, it's on the backside.
Oh, no, there's still on the other side.
Yeah, it's double-sided.
So, the next item we have is the Middleton, what's called the Middleton Scholarship. And so I wanted to address this and state that Middleton, from town side, and I believe you start speaking from school side, because you're there, that Middleton does not officially offer a scholarship. I think there is one out there that's called the Middleton Scholarship. I think what we want to do is send a letter to that group and ask that Middleton's name be removed from it.
I think it's being absolved anyway, isn't it?
Yes, Joanne posted today that she will be giving out scholarships this year and then she's done with it.
Yeah.
So
Okay, all right,
So it kind of worked itself.
Okay, so then that's gonna be, yeah, all right, so let's move on, that one needs to be solved, thank you. Turn the page over, yes, right there. Proposed building permit and application fees, so Tracy and I spoke with Carl, and we asked him to review the building, fees that come out of the code enforcement office, that department, and, to review those about the area towns, because we don't feel that, we were not in the same fee structure as our surrounding communities. So I just need to ask this question, Carol, is this is what we currently have?
Yeah, so what I
This is
gave you
what
was
we-
the current building permit application, which explains how we currently calculate the fees, which is the very low, calculated off from square footage of the project. And then this is the new building application packet that Carl has come up with the new fee schedule, which is very much more in line with Farmington. I think he worked with the code enforcement officer in Farmington and one other town, maybe New Durham, to come up with this new fee schedule. I think Roxanne ran the numbers on one prior to the meeting when we were talking to them, and what somebody would have paid $800 for, they would pay $12. I mean, was the difference.
Exactly, yeah.
And really, I mean, Middleton is well known for being the cheapest town to build in. So this just puts us more in line with other towns, still on the low side
Just
though.
so we can separate them and get the.
So, I don't know what the board's feeling is on, want to review this and come back next week to approve, or do you want to approve tonight?
I will say that I have not checked the application for spelling and grammar and stuff like that.
So what I
It
would
was late in the
suggest,
day that I got
so
it.
what I would suggest is let's review it this week and, look to finalize it next Monday night.
Yeah.
And it would be effective, it would be effective after that meeting, so it would be effective like May 2nd.
Yeah.
The night of April, so.
Perfect.
So that's it, that is homework then, Carol.
Yeah, I said it was homework.
You did, which I think this will be good, a good move in the right direction. The next item is, cell phone stipends.
So, we ended the Verizon account, like, end of February, beginning of March, by the time we got that all resolved. April 1st, code enforcement and fire chief got their first stipends. They're the only two the town is paying for the welfare cell phone as a prepaid flip phone. We got a request from the police department for, stipends for the chief and the patrol officer, but they've asked them to go retroactive to January 1st, which we can't, in my opinion, it is up to the board, but I wouldn't think that we would give them the stipends prior to the other people that got them. I mean, the town phones were still available until mid-March. So I would think April 1st would be the first stipend payment. You know, that's the first one the chief got, that's the first one that, code enforcement got. I don't think that we would go back further when the Verizon account was still active to give
They
the
had the
stipend.
option, they had the option. to use
Yes,
it.
they did.
And I would not disagree with that, so I think it would be starting April 1st, that we would,
So I'll give that to
I
Officer
mean,
Volpe.
I'm
the
just saying,
chief.
I'm.
However, I
agree
don't-
with that, but I don't know what everybody else.
I also don't have a phone number for the chief, and I think that that's something that he needs to provide before I can give him a stipend.
Agree. I would
I would
agree.
have to have a number to call.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, so I'm gonna throw it out for discussion before we make a motion and decide.
Did we send this, when did we send this out, as far as
Send one out.
notifying department heads, what have you, about the stipends, if they wanted a phone or if they wanted a stipend.
This happened when we voted to end the Verizon account, so I would say right around the first of the year, and I could give you the specific date if I was here. However, then I had one-on-one conversations with each one of them, like, what do you want to do? Do you want a cell stipend? You know, do you want a prepaid phone? You know, I can give you a prepaid flip phone, that's probably not the preferred phone. And everybody has, except for welfare, has chosen the stipend. The chief said, I have to think about, when he came back to work and I sat down with him to go over some of the changes, like that we had moved to bi-weekly and, you know, HR stuff. He said, let me think about it. I just got the memo on April 17th from him requesting the stipend.
So I think one issue is that we would, only go back to April 1st because that's what we did, that's what we did for the other individuals, right? So would everybody agree to that?
Yeah, I'm talking about that.
Now,
They're really well aware of the fact that they had the ability to have a phone beforehand.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it makes sense that, yeah.
yeah, so we'll come back and circle back to this motion because the next discussion we need to have is regarding the stipends is, who gets the stipends? Because I believe, on the prior board, there was only department heads only. And now we have,
Well, the exception is, the PD, when we had the Verizon account, paid for 4 lines for the chief and 3 full-time officers. So the whole time we had that Verizon bill, they paid for 4 lines. So they were issued 4 phones in that PD. So, do we want to give Officer Volpe a stipend or not? That's entirely up to the board. But just know that he was provided a Verizon phone. He is one of the people that had to give a phone back.
did he use the phone?
No. He used his personal phone because the phone didn't work. He didn't have service.
That's right.
I mean, Mike had a phone and never used it.
So, taking the comments on that.
You will notice that the line is blown for cell phones because we had the Verizon bill more into this year than we expected.
Right. So, people's thoughts on that?
I say, I was at that meeting, I remember you clearly saying departments, and that's what it was.
I think on the PD side of things, going back a few years now, from when I was on the budget committee, I don't necessarily think that a phone or a stipend should be given to every single employee, but I do think we need to come up with a way to accommodate on call, because it's one of those things where if he goes on call at 2 a.m., he needs to answer that phone, whether it's his personal phone or, but I don't, sitting here right now, I don't have an answer as to how you can figure that out or divvy that up, whether it would be based on whether they had on-call shifts during the week or not, or,
So,
That's my thought.
Right, so I'm gonna just take a step back and say, I think we've determined that we're gonna go back for April 1st, back from April 1st, correct? So we really only need to address from April 1st until May, if we're going forward, as to what we're going to cover.
Right.
Besides department heads.
But we still need to figure out, for example, you talk about the situation that how we're gonna determine their own call. Because they're gonna be on call when they have to have a cell phone or they have to have a phone in order to get that.
But
the fire department doesn't.
Yes, but at the same time, fire department, EMS, we have to call net control or anything like that. We have to use our own personal cell phones.
Right.
So it falls under the same category.
That's why I'm asking.
So I would stick to the original, my thing is, I would stick to the original thought processes as department head. If that's just me, I mean, you all can chime in with what your thoughts are. And if you see revisit, we can revisit.
I'll just reiterate what Mike said though, I mean, how many times have I used my personal phone for this job? All the time, you know, I mean, so, 2 on-call shifts a month, you know, does that warrant a $50 stipend? Well, I use my phone daily for this and I'm not getting sick.
So, after, so,
I'm fine with that.
okay, well, Jim can go again. So we'll address this as, I think, being together. So I'm looking for a motion to say the cell phone stipend will be effective April 1st, and it will be only for department heads. Is that sound correct? Is that something wants to put that motion up?
Motion.
Motion that we do the cell phone stipends effective April 1st, and for the department head. All those in favor? Aye. The next item, the Branch River oh, sorry? Yes, I said April 1st.
Didn't
It
want
was
to-
all one motion.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
April 1st effective to just,
Perfect.
they hadn't already been announced, so next, Branch River SWA project.
Okay, so we received last week, this big packet, and it's a standard dredge and fill application prepared by Trout Unlimited for the enhancement of in-stream habitat on the Branch River using strategic wood additions. And basically, it's supposed to, they're gonna dredge the stream, and then they're gonna put wood in, like natural wood, branches, trees, I don't know. They have a lot of detail, I mean, we got a couple hundred pages worth of stuff. And they're hoping that this will help increase the trout population in that river. So they gave a copy to the town clerk that's available for the public to look at. The Conservation Commission has a copy, the Planning Board has a copy, and the Board of Selectmen have a copy. So it's a very interesting read. Jim Keegan and I reviewed it, and it's a nice little project. Just want to make you guys aware of that.
Thanks.
You received it.
You received it, you can note in the minutes and you received it.
Yes.
Scott, you had something that wasn't on the list here, but I think we all,
The Verizon Tower.
yeah.
Yeah, so just to share some information that came about last week, or week and a half. Our cell phone tower over on the Ridge Road here, there is a new provider, Verizon, is going up on that tower, here in the very near future. They're in the process right now. So my guesstimate from talking with Verizon is that will probably go live sometime around 1st of June-ish. Talking with
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky Tower, which is who essentially rents that area from us. We do have a contract with them as far as when other providers come on board. So I reviewed the contract last week. I spoke with the representative from Blue Sky today, and their rent will increase by 40% as soon as that goes online.
Yeah, so that's good news. That's Verizon here. We'll see.
Kate,
Is it about $2,000 we get per year now from that?
we get 1,200 something a month.
So it'll probably go up
Thank
to
you.
about 2,000, 12 times.
And that gets paid directly to the highway department, CRF. Every
Remember-
6 months, yeah.
But that is good news, so maybe, anything else that the board has and then addressed and then we'll open it to public? Public input? Fine.
You just mentioned the Branch River, that's Branch River.
The Phoebe Island goes over to.
Don't work this side of town, Bonnie.
I'm sorry, can you explain that to me in software?
So doesn't it come off Phoebe Island, it goes over to the Branch River over
We
in
cross it every day.
Yeah.
Oh, that way.
Yeah, I think it comes, the only time it touches in Middleton, I think, is up off New Portsmouth Road. Because then it crosses and it goes,
By Irving?
just south of like the Napa and stuff, you'll see it goes across
Nah,
16
Rivers.
16 there, and then it goes
Yeah.
actually through Milton Mills,
That's it?
and it eventually dumps into Northeast Pond.
Yeah.
Andrea?
Mentioned the higher Robin.
Yeah. Last name. Willis.
Oh.
Yeah, last meeting, we didn't announce the name because we hadn't done
I'm
it.
sorry, because I'm not
Her
here.
name is Robin Willis.
Anything else?
I did,
Same time.
back when the cell phones were all discussed and the department had paid and everything, there was talk about putting one of those phones in the ambulance for use in the ambulance if we need to call med control or what have you. Is
Yeah.
that idea been scrapped?
No, we can certainly revisit that. We
I
can-
have one extra prepaid flip phone if they want that for in the ambulance.
Well,
It's
so
on-
I would ask you, Andrea, what would work, what device would work best for that purpose? Would the flip phone we have, or would it be in
Does
the,
it work all over town?
It's an AT&T.
so then, yeah, so then we can certainly look to do that, see how that works and go from there.
I mean, I don't know how much use it would.
Yeah, but, I mean.
It's only $30 a month for the plan.
So we
I
can,
guess that's a cheap discussion.
we can reevaluate, we can move forward with that and reevaluate it if someone wants to make the motion that we use the AT&T phone.
I'll make the motion.
So,
Not,
and
not unless the chief wants to talk with
do you wanna?
No,
I mean, we can-
go ahead, we need it.
We can certainly see how it is going for the rest of the year, or by the time when we can redetermine if that's continues. So, Tim has put the motion out there that we use the AT&T flip phone for the ambulance. Second,
I'll start.
all those in favor?
Aye.
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, you're looking at, now, if you're looking at the PD side of things, you're looking at a duty phone for whoever's on call, or on duty at that point, right? I'm just saying,
If we can do the same thing, a prepaid flip phone,
right,
it makes sense.
wouldn't that be the most,
That was what I proposed years ago.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what's fair is fair,
Absolutely.
Right,
just point that out, is all.
right, so I think right now we'll stick with where we are, and then we can readdress that need be. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay, anything, Matt?
So my point is, Chief Cooper's EMS license expires, EMT license expires the 30th of this month. I didn't know if any one of you were able to reach out to him and see if he's,
I'm sorry, when is it
going
expire?
the end of this month, the 30th, April 30th. I didn't know if any one of you could reach out to him and see if he's planning on retesting or renewing his license. Yeah, restarting.
Mike was, when I brought it up.
Mike was
Mike
gonna look into
was
it.
supposed to reach out.
Okay.
He has attempted to unsuccessfully.
So, that being said, at least you guys are aware
Okay.
of when his.
Yeah, I think I heard that, but we will certainly find out, what the intent is there. Anything else? Bonnie?
Have you heard anything back? I know you heard for the cell phone, for the cameras. I know you heard that, but they were going to let us know. They had everything finished when everything was
We haven't
out.
gotten any correspondence on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have something. I just would like to congratulate Dawn on throwing a great event for the kids.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of kids turn out and it was a lot of fun and you did the vast majority of work.
Yeah, also, I could be remiss after that, just to put it out there, unfortunately, John Moore passed away beginning of the end of last week, and so he was a big asset to the town, and that he will truly be missed. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:18.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?